Alright, I'm going to give you a powerful way to draw Godzilla, and it's going to be easy and repeatable so that you understand it. So let's jump right into it. You want to think of Godzilla, at least the legendary version of Godzilla. Think of his head kind of like a box at an angle. So right here we have a box at an angle, and then you have another box right in front of it, right? So it's like a rectangle. And then you have a very large shape going outward, almost like a cone coming around this area. If you just remember these very simple shapes, you're gonna draw at least something close to kind of what Godzilla is. And I'm gonna talk to you about it a little bit. We're gonna kind of go casually into it. So right here, we're going over here, pulling back, and you want to put all these pieces together, right? But these are the biggest building blocks of Godzilla. It's funny thinking about this too, because Godzilla has a million different ways of being drawn, but drawn at a kind of side angle, that would be probably one of the deceptively easy. It seems deceptively easy, but it's totally not. But I'm staying within that box shape that I kind of thought about. Line over here. I'm gonna actually crack his mouth open on this one though. Right over here. Godzilla was one of my favorite monsters growing up. It still is. I have more action figures of Godzilla than is healthy to kind of talk about. But when you start with that shape and you kind of go on over here, you can kind of add any details you want. I know Godzilla in general is pretty much in that category of everyone brings a little bit to the table that they'd like, right? So you can kind of throw maybe some of the extra scales down here along the stomach, the these extra lines. Sometimes you don't really need to even add those lines. Sometimes you could kind of just throw giant, like, osteoderms, kind of like in this area. He's got gills, at least that version of him. And over here, we're going to go into the spikes on his back. Spike network on his back is big. Right? Gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Think of like mountains. I'll never not think of them like mountains, right? And they changed over time, right? Depending on who's directing the movie. I know they brought back the royal spikes, right? Where they splay out a little bit more. From here on, and more or less just kind of throwing in random lines over here to show that there's a little bit of texture going on, which is important to kind of display. If you like any of this stuff, by the way, please let me know. I kind of want to talk again to everybody. I'm thinking about maybe bringing different people on here that we could, discuss different stuff. But I will probably try to bring some guests onto the channel so that we can kind of, just talk a little bit more. I feel like I've been away too long from this channel, and I want to start updating on a regular basis, and I want to hear what people have to say. Thinking, since AI is becoming so prevalent, I think preserving our art community is incredibly important, and I kind of want to add a positive space for that, for just people that like traditional art. You know, but let me give me some random things you want to have maybe drawing tutorials on, and I'll do my best to kind of explain some stuff. So that box shape, at least for Godzilla in profile, really works. As far as the spikes go, just kind of backwards it, realistically, they're just gigantic triangles, you know? These are like merged triangles. The eye right there would be like a human eye, like a Pac-Man symbol, almost like a little bit of a pie chart. And then I'm just throwing little curved lines for osteoderms, right? For different scales that you want on Godzilla's back. But continue right here. I extended that with a little bit of shadow. Don't forget I would say this area right here. This area is really important, and that is the area, what do you call it? This area right here, it's basically the skin when a lizard opens its mouth. Dinosaurs probably had that. A lot of reptiles have that. So it's just kind of something to think about. And a lot of these scales are smaller, right? They're going to be smaller because you don't want them to kind of take the drawing, right? That's why they're small details, and that's literally why we have stuff like that, you know? You want those small details. Literally why we put those down in that fashion, right? Too much would be too much. And even these details can overcome the drawing, can overwhelm it. So I am taking my time here. It's good to kind of let this stuff kind of play out. And you're also putting stuff down and then correcting it as well, right? I forget who said this. I don't know who said this on, but you just want it to exist, and then you can make it better, right? You just want to put stuff down, be willing to make mistakes, and just try to improve on those mistakes, right? But you want to put something down. A lot of people are very afraid to just kind of put stuff down. I don't know why that is. You don't want to be afraid. You got this shape over here, and then we have this shape right over here on this side. He looks a little tired. He looks like he's in thought. Let's draw people in iris right there. And he looks like he's contemplating life. Like, yeah, what's up? But thanks so much. I'll draw another one later. Maybe a different expression, but thanks so much. Go check out the main website. Love seeing you guys, and I want to hear from you in the comments. Let me know.
Okay, so that was amazing. You finished this lesson, but keep it going. Keep the art practice going by clicking this video right here. It's going to be within the same theme, and you want to keep it rolling to get better and better and better and get that art flow going. So click right here.